Um, so as I said, Resync is an AI-driven intelligent energy cloud platform. Started here in Singapore. It's Emir's and mine. Emir and I started this together 5 years ago. I have a PhD in power and energy system, and Emir also worked in energy industry. Using our knowledge and using our expertise in this domain, in creating intelligent algorithms and intelligent solutions, we started Resync together. Bit of background about like why we do this. I think like Birkin covered it, but just to reiterate the message, energy is one of the most biggest source of carbon emissions in the world right now. It contributes almost 73%. That could range across from energy in industry, buildings, and transport. There are a lot of commitments being made worldwide, as well as like a lot of initiatives, both from private and government sectors, to reduce their carbon emissions. That is through renewables, using of smart technologies, electric vehicles. And in the last 1.5, 2 years that we see, there is already a $403 billion spend on using energy efficient solutions in this region, worldwide, sorry. Second painful factor is, of course, the cost of energy prices that have spiked drastically through over the last 2 years. Even in the European region, somewhere we are seeing upwards of 500% increase in pricing. That is definitely painful and is pinching the customer where it hurts. So both from a carbon point of view as well as from a price point of view, there's a lot of emphasis on using intelligent energy technologies. So now what's happening? Like, what are we doing to make sure that we reach this goal? So starting from how we get our electricity in a very traditional manner, that you will get it directly from a power plant and it will get distributed down to your industrial complex, residential complex, commercial complex. It's a very unidirectional kind of flow of electricity. That is being changing fast, with a lot of solar being propped up, whether it's at the scale of independent power plants or on rooftop in households and industrial settings, as well as we have electric vehicles, energy storage that comes in. So that means the power does not flow unidirectionally. There's a bidirectional flow. We have a lot of prosumers. That means consumers who produce electricity as well. So we call them prosumers in the mix. And that means like we are moving towards a need for a smarter grid infrastructure, smarter information flow that will drive new ways of energy management. This is just a quick snapshot of what does the market opportunity looks like. It is expected to be globally a $92 billion market per year and growing at an exponential rate over the next 7 to 8 years as well. So what we typically do is we take a three-pronged approach. We start with digitalization of ecosystem. That means like we connect with different sensors, such as solar inverters, such as building management systems, meters, air quality sensors, etc. On that data that we collect, we run multiple machine learning models that do somewhere from energy forecasting to predictive maintenance. And finally, our USP is energy optimization. So on the data that we collect, we understand how to run a building at the lowest cost of energy or at the lowest carbon emissions, or both. And using that information, we figure out at every given instant how a building or how a plant should be run, and we take automated control. So we close the loop and make sure that the action that came out of machine learning is actually acted upon. So we close the loop in the overall ecosystem. As a result of which, customers see savings, customers see the carbon emissions getting reduced, etc. So just a quick dive through, like what typically happens on a typical journey of a customer. Let's say, for example, you're a building owner. You have a lot of equipment. So you have your HVAC system, you have solar on your rooftop, you probably have EV chargers in your garage as well. So what Resync system does, it directly integrates with those sensors over common communication protocols or over APIs. On the data that we collect, so we do forecasting, so we can forecast how much energy you're going to consume as well as generate over the next 15 minutes to 1 day. So in that horizon, we can provide the forecasting. Additionally, based on asset performances, like you have your boiler, you have your chiller, air handling units, so many moving components, and it's very hard for building owners to keep track of how their assets are performing when they need to carry out. They're mostly doing breakdown maintenance. So using the digitalization tool and using the machine learning analytics, we can figure out like predictive maintenance. So when they need to take care of their assets, if there are degradation that are happening, so they can take a more of a proactive approach. And finally is our optimization. So using the real-time data, that means like the energy consumption, as well as forecast information. So whatever we have forecasted about energy generation, about weather, about pricing, all those we input together into our algorithm to figure out like at any given instance, so should you import more electricity from the grid? Should you pump out more from your batteries, or you should actually reduce your energy consumption? So this is a very simplistic way of explaining it, but figuring out that balance at every single instant is very important in the power system. And then that's what we do for the buildings. And using our ensemble model-based machine learning algorithms, we actually close in the loop. So we actually send the signal back to the device, which takes action on the real assets on the ground. That means ramping up the solar when it's needed, or ramping down the battery when it's needed, or changing the cooling requirements or the heating requirements of the building based on the condition. And all of this is present on a transparent web and mobile-based platform for our users. So on the platform itself, we work in a B2B model. That means other enterprises can see data from an organization point of view, as well as granular as on a building and a component level. So it serves as a SaaS product for different stakeholders, whether you're a chief sustainability officer, whether you are a procurement officer, or you are a facility manager or a technician. So you can use a single platform to peer through how energy is being managed in your portfolio. We also do integrated facility management and forecasting and maintenance. I talked a bit about it. And finally, we have automated sustainability audits and reporting built into the system. So that means you do not have to sift through data. You do not have to sift through CSV files and spend a lot of manpower in creating reports. They can be created by click of a button through the tool itself. And yeah, I talked a lot about HVAC optimization. This is our USP. Typically using our solution for most buildings, we see somewhere around 10 to 25% savings in energy consumption using our solution. Yeah, so we work in 3 domains. Again, B2B in all of them. We manage renewables, which is typically microgrid kind of setup, working with renewable developers, operation maintenance companies. The biggest segment for us is our building segment, where we work with hotels, university schools, commercial industrial space, etc. And finally is our intelligent household. I'll talk a bit more about it because this is another fancy machine learning algorithm that we have built in-house. So what we typically do for the households, by capturing just the smart meter data, we can break it down into appliance level consumption. So by using a single point of metering, we can tell you how much you're consuming from your air conditioning, how much your fridge is consuming, or your washing machine is consuming, and give those insights to the end user. So we are doing a project with National Environmental Agency in Singapore with 600 households where they are using this solution to provide an intelligent disaggregation. We call it Sigma internally because summation of all the loads, that's what you see. But it's a very sophisticated algorithm that understands appliance patterns, that uses different electrical signatures to break down information down to the appliance level. Yeah, few projects that we have done so far. We are managing a smart campus at Chiang Mai University of 140 buildings, which it's a virtual power plant essentially, which uses solar on its rooftop, building management system, electric vehicles, and energy storage all combined into one. This is the other project that I talked about the 500 and 600 households, where we are using our non-intrusive load monitoring or Sigma solution to provide energy disaggregation to Singaporean households. And one more project is on Singapore Discovery Center, where we are managing 8 different buildings to make sure they reach their net zero goal. So they have deployed, as you can see from the photos, they have deployed a lot of solar, even on the walkways. So they are very committed to achieving net zero, and Resync is enabling their journey towards it. Overall, we manage around 180 buildings, mostly in the Asian region. We have partnerships with various groups such as Boston Consulting Group, PTT, to expand into different markets, to expand into different verticals as we grow and scale the solution. Yeah, this is us. Most of the team is actually 80% tech team, comprising of data scientists, software engineers, data engineers, and IoT engineers. So this is a bit about us. A bit about Singapore ecosystem has been very supportive from the get-go for us. So we're part of an accelerator called Entrepreneur First when we first started our journey, and they focus on deep tech accelerator. And when we presented the idea of an AI-driven energy management solution, they were like, oh, this is very impressive. And they could foresee back in 2017 that even though sustainability wasn't picking up as fast as it has in the last 2 years, this is a promising field. So we got an early support from SG Innovate, which is again a deep tech supporter, a local investor of early stages and seed stage startups. And we got some early backing from Enterprise Singapore. Enterprise Singapore is essentially an enabler for small and medium enterprises in Singapore, which ranges all the way from startups to small enterprises to even medium scale industries as well. And yeah, we are working very closely with Energy Market Authority. So the atmosphere here has been very, very conducive to creating new technologies, and Singapore being at the heart of the Southeast Asian region is quick to adopt new technologies. That means like it can serve as an example for the rest of the region to propel towards new goals and new technology. So there's less hesitancy if it is proven and past the Singapore standards. That gives a confidence worldwide of adopting new technology, especially artificial intelligence, where people can be wary about it. So it has been definitely very supportive, launching a company here and working with the Singapore startup ecosystem to create this. Yeah. Thank you.